Welcome in, GPS to God. We are so glad that you are back with us. Part number 2 of Job coming up shortly. But first, hit us up on an email, mailroom@gpstogod.com. Check out the website. Check out Instagram, all that cool kind of stuff. Just the three amigos tonight, Daniel Sanders, Stefano Patterson, Ryan Gotro.
Hello, hello.
And then there were 3.
Who else do you need besides
Slack over here can't make it.
Man.
So Zach was with us for part 1 of this Job study, and he had to gracefully bow out today. So had to gracefully bow out, but we'll drag him back sometime, and
Yep.
Indeed.
or bring in a sub and let them catch up right in the middle wherever we happen to be. But we're glad you're here with us.
You would think he was a sub, but he's not. He really just kind of came one of the core 4.
Well, we
Would
have
you call him
several.
that or no? We have like a
He's
rotation
probably got the
core
most
4.
under his, probably episodes logged outside of us 3.
Yeah,
I'd say that.
Probably have.
but we got a good mix of
We do. We have some good
regulars.
people that show up and
So we
volunteer for
probably
that.
have 6 or 7 regulars. That
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
we're all good.
funnel through.
good stuff.
But Job, we're back for Job. We went through the first 2 chapters last week. If you didn't check that out, you might want to. But it was pretty good. First time we're doing this kind of study. We had fun.
Oh yeah.
I did go back and look up. So let's give a quick review. Job had a lot of good stuff, had good stuff going for
Absolutely.
him.
Yes,
And
he did.
Satan happened to be in a meeting with God and said, hey, let me take a stab at old Job here and see if he still follows you after I give him a little roughing up. And he roughed him up good.
Yeah, you did.
Did
Roughed it.
everything but killed him.
Roughed him up good. But we were talking last week about how long that took for all that
yeah.
stuff to happen. And
Yeah.
we know he got all those messengers in the same day and whatnot. But something I read said nobody really knows, obviously, how long this. We're getting into him discussing with his friends and whatnot today. But they said it could have been up to 2 years that all this stuff was.
Huh.
Which is crazy to me that it would be 2-year span when it references that they came the same day.
Yeah, well, they're talking like the entire book of Job from the time.
Oh,
I got
You
it.
know,
okay,
all
okay.
those messengers all came in the
Yes,
same.
Came
so they
We're
got found-
talking
okay.
from the time stuff first started going bad until at the very end of the chapter
Yeah.
when God speaks and does all.
Okay.
They're like that could have been like 2 years. So puts a different spin on
Interesting.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Different spin. But chapter 1 and 2, Job was doing good. Thousands of heads of livestock, all this different stuff. 10 kids, and man, lots of land. It went away pretty quick. Pretty quick.
One of the things that I want to try to get some questions on was the whole female donkeys and why that was.
Yes.
Couldn't find anything really in writing, whether I Googled it or whatever, that actually answered it. But I did find out that like at that time, and even possibly to today, male donkeys were used more for labor, for that kind of thing. So I'm wondering if maybe he had all female donkeys because maybe he wasn't using them for labor.
For breeding.
Yeah, and they were just for breeding. So that's why he had all the female. And then another thing too is that, like, you wouldn't put your male and female donkeys or male and female stock, whatever it is, together because they would obviously raise Cain and all that kind of good stuff. So I'm wondering if
Interesting.
that's why he only had one sex, male or female. Or female.
Interesting.
Ryan coming in with
It
the
is.
homework.
It is, man.
Good
I got
job.
nothing.
But that was last week, chapter 1 and 2, and then at the end of chapter 2, Job's wife kind of jumped on him too and was like, hey, what are you doing over here? Just curse God and die already. But now Job's 3 friends showed up. So we ended last episode, the end of chapter 2, Job's 3 friends showed up. They sat with him for 7 days, 7 nights. Nobody spoke a word to him. And now we pick up in chapter 3. And like we said last week, we don't know how this is going to go, this study. Today will probably be a little slower as well, kind of reading a lot more. But as we get into some of these middle chapters, I think we'll maybe read less and condense some stuff, hit the highlights. So it's not too repetitive. But
Right.
lots of conversation going on the next 30 or so chapters here. But
I thought you were going to say 30 or so episodes.
I mean, I hope
That
so.
too.
Yeah, I
That
hope
Well, I
too.
mean, but
That
on
too,
just
Ron.
Job.
That too.
I mean, if that's what happens, that's what happens. But I'm just saying.
it's got to be the greatest study of Job
Yeah,
ever.
right.
Joe, part 26.
We're only on chapter 5.
Man, we're
I'd quit.
we'll be through chapter 5 today. Mark it down. Mark it down. How long we've been rolling? Like 3 minutes or so. Yeah, we're getting through chapter 5. But we're going to start in chapter 3 today. We're going to pick it up. This is where 7 days has gone by. Job sitting in a pit of ashes, shaved his head off, and now he decides to talk. His boys have been there, and he's like, all right, here we go. So Job opened his mouth and cursed the day of his birth. And this is what he said. Let's go through some of this. Let the day perish on, and he doesn't hold back. Spoiler alert.
He's going 100%.
He does not hold back right
He
here.
does not.
Let the day perish on which I was born, and the night that said a man is conceived. Let that day be darkness. May God above not seek it, nor light shine upon it. Let gloom and deep darkness claim it. Let clouds dwell upon it. Let the blackness of day terrify it. That night, let thick darkness seize it. Let it not rejoice among the days of the year. Let it not come into the number of the months. Pretty much he's saying, let's wipe that day out of existence.
When I read this, I really thought he was going negative against God. I mean, because it says that he doesn't curse him or he doesn't say anything bad against God. So
Well, up to that point.
So up to
In
that
the
point.
past,
And then when I heard,
yeah.
because when I read this, I was like, well, that kind of contradicts a lot of things.
Yeah, no, we're getting into some different
Yeah,
mindset
okay.
here of Job. He's straw that broke the camel's back. He's kind of tired of being
Boiling
afflicted.
point.
Yeah. So up to in chapters 1 and 2, when they say, Job did not sin or charge God with wrong, up to that point, all the stuff that had happened to him, he had not.
Yeah, okay.
Now the story changes a little bit, but
Plot twist.
But yeah, he is saying that the day he was born, even the day he was conceived, just wipe that out of history. Behold, let that night be barren. Let no joyful cry enter it. Let those curse it who curse the day, who are ready to rouse up Leviathan. Is that how your Bible said it to you, Ryan?
Close.
Does.
What did it say?
I can't remember from what it said.
Yeah,
So,
well.
but I can play it if you'd like.
Leviathan?
Leviathan. That might be better.
I like it.
Maybe.
That's
I
probably-
don't- I
that's
could
probably-
be
I'm not
wrong.
going to press play because it goes back to It goes back to the first verse, and we ain't going to listen to all that again.
Yeah, that might be better. But anyway, I did Google who that is, what that is. You all know?
Is it like a?
Do not.
Isn't it like something about underneath the sea or something?
So that's
isn't
what it became. Yeah, like a
Okay.
sea creature.
I guess it became that.
like
yeah.
a secret, but it's
Gotcha.
also like a metaphor for a great opponent or somebody who
Okay.
brings a damage or
Gotcha.
bad news, but like a great opponent. It's kind
Okay.
of like just a metaphor for bad news.
Got
So
it.
basically, just like a villain.
Yeah, a villain.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good word.
You're welcome.
But it did become.
It doesn't happen that very often, so you're welcome.
It's like a creature of mythology and stuff.
Right,
But in
okay.
the Bible, most of the time, it's just an analogy for a great opponent, a villain kind
Right.
of thing.
Cool.
Yeah. Let the stars of its dawn be dark. Let it hope for light, but have none, nor see the eyelids of the morning, because it did not shut the door of my mother's womb, nor hide trouble from my eyes. Why did I not die at birth? Come out from the womb and expire. Why did the knees receive me, or why did the breast that I should nurse? For then I would have lain down and been quiet, I would have slept, then I would have been at rest with kings and counselors of the earth who rebuilt ruins for themselves, or princes who had gold who filled their houses with silver. Or why was I not as a stillborn child, as infants who never see the light? I mean, he's not holding nothing back here.
I mean, how many examples do you have of negativity for that one day?
I mean, he has a lot.
Just
you
like
know.
just like Daniel said, he's the breaking
It was
point.
boiled over.
Kinda, this is
Beyond.
It's been building up, I guess, for a little bit.
Yeah, for at least a week. However long those trials took, he got all the news in one day, right? But however long those trials took, and then he's been sitting with his friends for a week
Oh, he's ready to vent.
In
He's ready to
silence.
let go.
yeah,
So-
in silence,
so
and
it's-
just festering.
Yeah, fuming.
It really brings the human attitude into it for us to
Yeah.
Like all this stuff is happening to me all the time. Like there's only so much you can take before you break.
Right.
Yeah.
He broke. But let's see, where do we pick up? There the wicked cease from troubling, and the weary are at rest. The prisoners are at ease together. They hear not the voice of the taskmaster. Just added some syllables there. Taskmaster. The small and the great are there, and the slave is free from his master. Why is light given to him who is in misery, and life to the bitter in soul, who long for death, but it comes not, and dig for it more than hidden treasures? I mean, he's just, I want to die. There's nothing I can, do or say.
I mean, he's almost to the point where I might as well just say, I'm going to take my own life.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, man, into the rope, whatever analogy you want to use, he is there.
Talk about hitting bottom.
Yeah. For my sighing comes instead of my bread, and my groanings are poured out like water. For the thing I fear comes upon me, and what I dread befalls me. I am not at ease, nor am I quiet. I have no rest, but trouble comes. So his friends have been there a week in silence, just being with him. Something else, a whole week, they're all sitting together, staring at each other.
Right.
What's the food situation? What's the sleep like? They're like, I'm going to catch a little nap over here. Do they have servants bringing them food, or what? Like the practical side.
All three that he had left.
Or is it
The
like,
slave.
yeah, or is it like a week-long fast or something like that? I don't
Great.
know.
That's a good question.
I
Because
don't know
he
why,
doesn't talk
but
about it.
I don't know why, but I think maybe a fast. I don't know why I think that, but that just in my head is that they just sat there for 7 days. I don't know. I guess I don't know about the sleeping. I guess they'd have to sleep at
I mean, after
some
that point,
I assume.
do you think he was even like he's so distraught on what happened? Do you think he's even hungry? He's even thinking about eating.
Well, I don't know, because at this point, when his friend showed up, he was cutting sores off with a broken piece of pottery.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, like if you've ever had a broken bone or some kind of medical stuff, some kind of surgery or something, like you don't want to eat, after that takes place for a while.
Yeah.
So
That's a great question. That is.
But maybe this was such a historic kind of event in their lives that they're just like seeking God with everything they have. I don't know.
Yeah.
The questions.
Yeah.
But
A lot of them.
so that's Job. When he decides to speak, that's what he drops on them. The day he was born should never have existed in history, and why was his mother's womb not shut up? Why'd they let him be born? But then his good buddy Eliphaz decides to
You got it.
speak up,
Nice work.
and I was this first thing in chapter. Then Eliphaz, I always like, since Zach said it, I always want to say terminite now.
Oh yeah.
Want to throw
Oh,
that
yeah.
R in there.
Yep. Yep.
Don't do that. It's not there. I think there's a word for that where you add letters to words.
Huh.
I don't know what it is. That might be made up right there.
Is that pretty similar to dyslexia?
Dyslexia is where
But that's where you just
you
rearrange
yeah.
stuff.
Where
Yeah.
you can read it.
You might as well.
All right, chapter 4. So that's what Job came with. Now let's see what Eliphaz has to say. A little bit of a rebuke here. A little bit of a rebuke.
Yes.
So verse 2 says, if one ventures a word with you, will you be impatient? I mean, it starts off kind of like, hey, man, can I get a word in edgewise here? or what?
Can you take a breath? Let me talk.
That's a lot that he just unpacked.
Oh, yeah.
So.
And, there's got to be emotion and groaning and, it's...
Right. Right. I mean, if your friend, all this stuff has happened to your friend, and you get there, and for 7 days, y'all are just sitting in silence. And then when he does start talking, when your friends start talking, this is what he says.
Yeah.
So this is what he lays out for you.
Yeah, and I kind of, infer, like, he's like, all right, dude, look, I know you're in a tough spot, but
Right.
Get over. No, I'm just kidding.
But-
Get over it.
let's keep things in check a little bit
Right.
here.
Right.
So that's what he does. He tries to keep it in check. Old Eliphaz says, if one ventures a word
Eliphaz.
with you, will you be impatient? Yet who can keep from speaking? Behold, you have instructed many. You've strengthened the weak hands. Your words have upheld him who was stumbling, and you have made firm the feeble knees. But now it's come on you, and you are impatient. It touches you, and you are dismayed. Is not your fear of God your confidence, and your integrity and the integrity of your ways your hope? So it's like, man, remember where you came from. Remember who you are. Like,
When I read that, I almost thought like in a way that he was saying like almost like, are you being a hypocrite right now? Like,
yeah, exactly.
you have nonstop talked about these things, and then now it's happening to you, and
Right.
it's a whole different game for
Right.
you. Oh, it's me now. So
Right.
Yeah. Remember who that was innocent ever perished, or where were the upright cut off? As I have seen those who plow iniquity and sow trouble reap the same. So kind of admonishing him still through that. By the breath of God they perish, and by the blast of his anger they are consumed. The roar of the lion, the voice of the fierce lion, the tooth of the young lions are broken. The strong lion perishes for lack of prey, and the cubs of the lioness are scattered. Now a word was brought to me stealthily. My ear received a whisper of it, amid thoughts from visions of the night, when deep sleep falls on men. Dread came upon me, and trembling, which made all my bones shake. A spirit glided past my face, the hair of my flesh stood up. It stood still, but I could not discern its appearance. A form was before my eyes. There was silence. Then I heard a voice. Can mortal man be in the right before God? Can a man be pure before his Maker? Even in his servants he puts no trust, and his angels he charges with error. How much more those who dwell in houses of clay, whose foundation is in the dust, who are crushed like the moth. Between morning and evening they are beaten to pieces. They perish forever without anyone regarding it. Is not their tent cord plucked up within them? Do they not die, and that without wisdom? A little bit to unpack there,
that's a little. That's a lot.
Yeah.
but
That is.
goes on to admonish him, and then like, dude, remember who you are, kind of stuff. The world is not coming to an end. God is still in control. And then he kind of goes on to talking about having a dream. I get like, there's a form in front of me. I couldn't really tell who it was, but I heard the whisper of it, and visions of the night. That part's a little confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The dream part is.
because I was trying to figure out like, was God actually in that part or not? But you saying it's like a dream makes more sense.
I mean, it's almost like he's saying, hey, I had a dream, and this is what I dreamt about.
Yeah.
And it kind of points it back to God. Like, God's in control. You're just a regular man. You're formed from the dust. God has done worse to other beings than
Right.
what is happening to you right now.
Yeah.
So get over yourself.
Yeah.
Because, you're going to die. We're all you're just a mortal man. You're going to die.
Right.
But man, can you comprehend that? If all that happened to me and you came and said, dude, Ryan, get over yourself.
Yeah.
Like, get over it. Did you see what just happened to me?
Yeah.
Did you see
Yeah.
what he just?
That would make you kind of a little bitter towards Eliphaz, I would say.
So in our own lives, when something not this bad happens to us, right? Something small, but we're having a pity party and a friend calls us out on it.
Mm-hmm.
Without a doubt.
We still kind of like,
Yeah.
go back at that friend.
Of course.
Dude, you got no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know what I'm going through.
Right. Yeah.
But Eliphaz, hey, chapter 5, we made it. He kept on going.
He did. He did not. He did not back off.
A whole nother chapter.
Another chapter, I believe, before there's a reply from Job.
All right, Eliphaz says, call now. Is there anyone who will answer you? To which of the holy ones will you turn? Surely vexation kills the fool, and jealousy slays the simple. I have seen the fool taking root, but suddenly I cursed his dwelling. His children are far from safety, and they are crushed in the gate. there is no one to deliver them. The hungry eats his harvest, and he takes it even out of thorns, and the thirsty pant after his wealth. For affliction does not come from the dust, nor does trouble sprout from the ground. But man is born to trouble as the sparks fly upward. As for me, this is a good one right here. He kind of, he's like, hey, man, this ain't me saying this. Verse number 8. As for me, I would seek God, and to God I would commit my cause, who does great things and unsearchable, marvelous things without number. He gives rain on the earth and sends waters on the fields. He sets on high those who are lowly, and those who mourn are lifted to safety. He frustrates the devices of the crafty so that their hands achieve no success. He catches the wise in their own craftiness, and the schemes of the wily are brought to a quick end. So he's kind of like, hey, man, if it was me,
I'd go to God.
I'd go to God. You
Stay faithful to him. He's showing you all these examples of why.
You're a little self-absorbed in the moment, but just if it was me, I'm just saying that's what I would do. And then we do the same thing. This is kind
For
of
sure.
a repeating thing that'll happen here for a while of taking bits of truth, maybe sometimes of godly truth, and intermingling that with our own opinions or ideas or our own narrative, even where like he's kind of rebuking Job here, and like, dude, you need to be focused on God, but maybe the way he does it is not great all the time. But we do that a lot. We'll see some more of that here in Job's reply of kind of taking some heavenly elements and twisting them.
Yep.
Which really is kind of a trick that the devil uses all the time too.
It does.
Absolutely.
It does. Take a little bit of the truth and then kind of, that started with Adam and Eve.
Yeah.
Just
Did he
started
really
from the
say
beginning.
that?
Did he really? You're right. Yeah.
And Jesus being tempted in the wilderness, he's quoting Bible verses to Jesus and be like,
Absolutely.
look, man, here's what you
It
should be
is.
doing, And he's like, well, that's not
Yeah.
really what that means
Yeah.
there.
And unfortunately, there's religions these days that are kind of like that. They'll sprinkle in a little bit of truth, but then kind of pick and choose what kind of truth out of the book that they
Yeah.
base their beliefs on.
There's a Netflix documentary that came out today,
Oh,
and I watched some of
I
it.
haven't watched that.
It is,
What is it?
it's pretty hard.
What is it? Is
I haven't
it
seen the whole
about? Is it
thing,
about
but-
this? What
No,
we're
no,
kind
no,
of
no,
talking.
no.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah, it's about what you just said. So
Okay.
it's about the Waco, Texas,
Oh,
back in
no.
the 90s
Oh,
when
Okay.
they had the government came
compound.
in and raided the compound. And
wow.
like that was a religious, cult, right?
Mhm.
But they said they were based in the Bible and it was all about Jesus and stuff. And
I have seen a documentary on that, but obviously, if that just came out today,
yeah, this
Diff-
one has
different
like
one.
interviews with people that were part of that, like
Oh,
lived
really?
in that house.
Wow.
And, and,
Interesting.
like interviews with the government agents and stuff that
Huh.
did some of the raids and whatnot. And like, dude, there's one lady in particular that
Yeah.
she's still in it.
Wow.
I mean,
Really?
like belief wise, and I'm like, she'll take something out of the Bible and be like, this is, from the Bible. I'm following Jesus, and I'm doing that, and here's how I follow. I'm like,
Yeah.
that is just crazy. Like, how can
who
you
made that book that you're looking at? Because it ain't the right one.
Like, how can you make a leap from Jesus to this?
Mm-hmm.
Because
Yeah.
they're talking about stuff that went on in that house and what they believed and
Right.
different. I'm like, how could you ever get there?
Like, did they make up things to make things that were sinful more of, okay, that's appropriate to do kind of thing?
Yeah,
what
and
you're saying?
it's hard. It's
heavy.
It's very heavy.
Yeah.
One, because of the situation, right?
Right.
Like, it was a crazy thing,
Right.
but like when they start talking about that side of it, she's talking about. If you don't know the story, I don't know that we can really go over it all here, but read it up, look it up. But
Waco, Texas, 90s.
yes, 1993, I think it was 3 or 4, something like that. But basically, this cult leader, right? David Koresh was his name. He, they had all these people, like 70-something people living in this compound, plus some kids, and married couple, single people. But basically, like, he became the husband to all the women.
I was like, he had relationships with all of them.
Yeah, and so this lady on this documentary would say we would have Bible studies at night that would go like hours and hours, and it's like I would stay there till early in the morning, late at night, early in the morning, hoping that he would pick me to be his companion that night.
Wow.
And then she's like, once he picked me finally, like, it was all this stuff that went on. It was all like a Bible study, and he was just doing that just for me so I could be closer to God in that experience. Wow. And I'm like,
talk about brainwashed.
That?
Like, how can you get there saying that's from the Bible when it's clearly the exact opposite?
Where there's an example of how the devil spins anything, right?
And I mean, like, this lady, of course, I mean, you only see what they show you in this documentary, but in all appearances, from what they've shown, from the parts I've seen, like, she is still out there as far as that belief system. Because they even said, like, there was part of the negotiations, well, they had a shootout. Mm-hmm. And then the shootout went bad, kind of for both sides. The government got beat. Mm-hmm. And so they called a ceasefire, and several, over the next several days, they negotiated to get some of the kids out of the house and stuff. So the lady, like, they asked a question of, like, did you think you were sending your kids to safety? And she's like, no. When I sent my kids out of that house, I was sending my kids to be with the devil. It's like, we were safe in the house. That's where God put us. Man. The government was the devil. So I sent my kids to be with the devil.
Man, that's crazy.
But like, I kind of wrote them off. It was about me being here with this guy.
But the sad part is that, like, if their mind is truly thinking that, what happens when they do pass away? I mean, they're not. I mean, to me, they're not going where they think they're going.
No. I mean, Jesus said, there's going to be plenty of people that stand before me and be like, I thought I was doing what you wanted, and he said, you never knew me.
Exactly.
Depart from me.
Yes.
That'd be a hard pill to chew.
A lot
swallow
of
that. There you go.
So.
Weeping and gnashing of teeth.
Yeah.
But didn't we prophesy in your name? Didn't we do this? Didn't we do that?
Yeah.
I never knew you.
Yeah, never knew you. Man, that's the worst sentence I could ever imagine.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
But so.
Might have to check that out. I mean, it
seems
heavy, but
I mean, it's obviously not for kids.
Right.
There's an older documentary that kind of. I mean, I'm assuming this one has probably more details because they've had more time to really go through it. Mm-hmm. But I remember one of them on the old documentary was like, the women were convinced that, like, he trained them how to shoot and everything, and had them like on the rooftops when this raid happened. Oh yeah, to like shoot back and everything at them.
That's what
they're coming in to take your place away.
Right.
So they said that's what got the initial search warrant was. FedEx, UPS, whoever was making deliveries to this compound of gun parts and stuff, and they would get all this. And one of the FedEx drivers or UPS drivers had a box, and a grenade casing fell out of the box.
Oh, no.
And he reported it to the sheriff or something, and they turned it over to the ATF, and that's what got. But, oh yeah, they. I mean, it's interesting. I'm not through the whole thing, but not for kids. Language isn't terrible. There is a little language, but I mean, it's violent, and just the ideas that some of these people are saying in this thing they're out there. But same kind of thing that we've been talking about. They take a little bit of something from the Bible and twist it and make it fit what they want it to fit and how they want it to fit.
Yeah.
Whew.
Eek.
Job. So Eliphaz is still talking here. Behold, this is verse 17, chapter 5. Behold, blessed is the one whom God reproves. Therefore despise not the discipline of the Almighty, for he wounds, but he binds up. He shatters, but his hands heal. He will deliver you from 6 troubles. In 7 no evil shall touch you. In famine he will redeem you from death, and in war from the power of the sword. You shall be hidden from the lash of the tongue, and shall not fear destruction when it comes. At destruction and famine you shall laugh, and shall not fear the beast of the earth. For you shall be in the league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with you. You shall know that your tent is at peace, and you shall inspect your fold and miss nothing. You shall know that your offspring shall be many, your descendants as the grass of the earth. You shall come to your grave in ripe old age, like a leaf gathered up in its season. Like a sheaf gathered up in its season. Behold, this we have searched out. It is true. Hear and know it is for your good.
Just building up that confidence.
I mean,
yeah, he
it's
kind of
really,
he breaks them down and builds them back up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really in a way, I mean, it is encouraging. I mean, it's just given all that happened to Job that makes it kind of, I guess, tough to hear, I guess.
yeah.
But I mean, it seems for now that it's coming from a good
Eliphaz
place.
is trying to
right.
get him back to, he's like, look, dude, like, get over yourself at the beginning. And then he's like, focus on God. And that's kind of what he's re-emphasizing here of, you're blessed if God does something to you because he's going to fix you, right?
Yeah.
He might take you through something, but he's going to fix you if he breaks you kind of deal. And then just starts going through he's going to protect you from famine. He's going to protect you from war. He's going to protect you from everything. He is in control. And, you're going to have tons of descendants. You're going to have this. You're going to have that. You're going to be here for a long time, die of an old age. We have searched it. He kind of ends, we've searched this out.
Mm-hmm.
We know this is true. We spent our entire lives saying this, building a relationship with God, telling other people about it. Hear it again. Hear and know that it's good that God's here.
And you already know it's true.
Yeah.
That's.
I mean, it's tough in the moment, though.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'll say,
that's
I'll
the
say-
thing. I mean, it's.
I
it's
give
pretty
Eliphaz.
bold for him to. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you're good.
I was just gonna say I give Eliphaz like that real like kudos because I mean all we can assume is that he's never been through this kind of thing.
Right.
I would say most anybody has not been
Exactly.
through this.
So just to have this much wording, I mean I don't know how much I would know how to say or what to say to this person,
Yeah.
So to have at least this much
Right.
what to talk about.
To speak to that much truth, especially after what he knows has happened to Job.
I mean, let's think about it today. I mean, someone passes away in someone's family, and a lot of people just go, "Man, I'm sorry. I'm going to pray for you."
Right.
And that's all they can say because they don't know what else to tell you.
Short and sweet.
Yep.
Yeah. Not
So-
break down the way that God provides and
Yeah,
the future and going through trials and
absolutely.
everything that he laid out. That's pretty bold to do that in that situation. But
It's also like guys typically do this a lot too. Like, let me fix this for you.
Mhm.
Let me fix this situation. Here's
Right.
what needs to happen,
Right.
and we'll get over this.
Right.
I mean, so it's kind of a guy answer too. Of here's what you need to do. Here's some steps to take, man.
Right.
We're gonna be over this.
If you do
before.
this,
Right.
you'll be good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that happen with y'all? Y'all do that? I try and do that. Like, so I have to learn like marriage.
Yeah.
If
About that.
If Christy brings something to me, and you see it in movies and stuff, like, I don't want you to fix it. I just want you to listen.
Right.
You know, like that's a
Is that-
learning
is that what she
process.
says?
It is. Yeah.
I think that is a quote from some girl movie. I couldn't tell you what it was.
Almost all girl movie. What are you talking about?
But,
Same premise.
yeah,
same premise. It is.
but I mean, like,
Same meaning, different
It
phrase.
is.
I want you to, yeah, hear what I'm saying, sympathize,
Yeah.
but don't tell me how to fix that. I just
Right.
Yeah.
just sit there. That's kind of
Yes.
hard sometimes.
It is.
I know how you can get over this
Yeah.
real quick. Do
Yeah.
this, and this.
It's difficult to hold that tongue sometimes.
Or like
It is,
some
for sure.
someone complains about someone at work or something like that. And they're
Right.
like, well, "Why don't you just go talk to them?" That's easier said than done.
I'd rather vent about it for 30
Yeah,
minutes.
let me
than-
just complain about it for a minute, and then I'll be good. And we'll deal with it again.
So Eliphaz, he kind of gave him his opinion, and here's where your focus needs to be. And then Job's like, let me get a rebuttal in there, buddy. Job answered and said, oh, moving on to chapter 6. See, we made it through 5. No problem.
Did, man.
No
Never
problem.
doubted you.
Chapter 6, Job says, oh, that my vexation were weighed and all my calamity laid in the balances. For then it would be heavier than the sand of the sea. Therefore, my words have been rash. Pretty much like, I've been through more than anybody else. So,
Right. Yeah.
Why are you talking to me?
yeah.
Yeah.
You can't compare to
Right.
this.
Right. This isn't anything minor.
And it's kind of like a, no offense, but I'm about to offend you, right? He's kind of like, my words have been rash. No offense, but here it's about to hit you. Verse number 4, for the arrows of the Almighty are in me. That's a pretty bold statement too. Like
It is.
the arrows of God are in me. Like, we're not talking about some earthly something happened to me.
Right.
I'm getting attacked from the Creator
Right.
of everything.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My spirit drinks their poison. The terrors of God are arrayed against me. That's the terrors of God are arrayed against. That's, whew. I mean, that's tough to imagine, but trying to imagine the terrors of God against you.
Right. And feeling that is.
Does the wild donkey bray when he has grass, or the ox low over his fodder? Can that which is tasteless be eaten without salt? Or is there any taste in the juice of the mallow? Mallow, the meaning of the Hebrew word is uncertain. Little side note there.
But
Yeah.
just click the button. I read it.
Got it down here in my little footnote.
Does it say something different?
No. It says just what you said.
Mine
Meaning
says
of
exactly
Hebrew
the same
for this
thing.
phrase is uncertain.
Get that a couple times in here, but
Yeah.
I mean, when I hear the word mallow, where does your mind go?
Mallow.
What sounds similar to it? Mellow. Like
Mellow.
something bland.
That's
Mine
what I
goes
would
straight
go
to
to, right?
marshmallow.
Yeah.
Because the Sandlot, in the movie The Sandlot, they're making
Yeah.
s'mores. He's like,
Yeah.
you take the graham, you take the chocolate, you take the mallow, and put it on there.
I
Yeah.
remember that scene. I don't
Yes.
remember saying that,
Yeah.
though. That's funny.
So that's where my mind goes when I hear
Right to
mallow.
the Sandlot. Classic.
Verse 7, my appetite refuses to touch them. They are as food that is loathsome to me. Going back to that not eating thing, that's kind of I don't know if he's talking about in that week that they've been together right there, or just kind of giving some analogies there. But
Right.
Yeah.
it goes back to that, did they eat? Did they sleep? What they do?
Right.
Oh, that I would have my request, that God would fulfill my hope. Now, this one is, I think we might have talked about this, asking somebody else, God, a family member or somebody sick, would you go ahead and take them?
Mm-hmm.
Job's turning it straight on himself right here.
Yes.
That I might have my request, that God would fulfill my hope, that it would please God to crush me, that he would let loose his hand and cut me off. This would be my comfort, that I would exult in pain, that I would even exult in pain unsparing, for I have not denied the words of the Holy One. What is my strength that I should wait? And what is my end that I should be patient? Is my strength the strength of stones, or is my flesh bronze? Have I any help in me when resource is driven from me? So he's kind of saying, like, I'm not built for this. I'm not made to stand up to what God is throwing at me.
I just think about when Job is the first initial comment to his friends where he's talking about how all these negative things, like I'd rather just take my life or whatever kind of thing. You'd think that there's no other explanations that he can say, and then he comes back with this, and it's like, oh, he has more.
Yeah, he keeps on going.
He does.
So, I mean, it's basically 2 chapters of Job's reply.
Yeah.
Of, you guys cannot help me in this because I'm going through something no one else can even understand.
Like you said earlier,
So
you don't
bad that
understand
you
this.
can't even fathom it.
Yeah. So Job kind of gives some more examples of this same kind of stuff. You know, all the analogies he goes through
Kind of
for
just repeating himself
for
on
a
different things.
couple things. I mean, he is really driving the point home, right?
Yeah.
Trying to. But then he gets over to verse 28, chapter 6, verse 28. But now be pleased to look at me, for I will not lie to your face. I'm giving it to you straight here, fellas. I'm telling you.
Right?
I'm not going to lie to you. Please turn. Let no injustice be done. Turn now. My vindication is at stake. Is there any injustice on my tongue? Cannot my palate discern the cause of calamity? So he's, you know, like, I know, I'm not lying to you. I know what I'm going through. You telling me that I'm not really experiencing what I'm experiencing, I'm telling you what I'm experiencing.
Right.
Kind of deal, you know, and like, just get away from me. Turn around.
But
Don't even look at me.
I don't think he's saying this as far as like a y'all need to have sympathy for me though either, right? Do you? I mean, is that how you feel, or do you think he is saying this to say y'all need to have like what Zach would say, "Woe is me." Like I'm always.
Well, I think he feels like they are downplaying what he's going through, and like they're saying, you know, God has allowed this to happen to you. He's going to bring you through it.
Yeah, exactly.
And Job is kind of saying like, you guys you can't even understand what I'm going through.
Right.
Like, just, you know, I'm not lying to you here.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm telling you exactly what's happening, but you're kind of downplaying it and dismissing it a little bit.
It's almost like Job would rather them not say anything.
Yeah.
To him that he would just wants to just get it all out and kind of just wallow in his misery without anybody speaking truth to him almost.
I mean, another parallel for us today. I'm so mad right now for whatever this situation. I don't even want you to make me feel better. Like, I want to sit here and be mad.
Right. I don't want to hear truth.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear, you know.
So he goes on. Job goes on for chapter 7. Same thing. I mean, the heading for chapter 7 is
I love it.
Job continues, my life has no hope.
That's exactly what mine says, and I love it.
That is,
because that's
man.
Based on what he's saying, that's what it is.
Chapter 7 starts with, has not a man a hard service on earth, and are not his days like the days of a hired hand? This, I kind of like this. Job is kind of taking it to a different analogy here throughout this chapter. Like a slave who longed for shadow, a hired hand look for his wages. So I am allotted months of emptiness, and nights of misery are apportioned to me. So that is a clue to some time right there, and I don't know if that's a literal, you know, months of emptiness, or if that's you know, just an analogy of some kind. But that is a expression of time that we haven't had before.
Yeah.
Right.
When I lie down, I say, when shall I arise? But the night is long, and I am full of tossing till the dawn. My flesh is clothed with warm worms and dirt.
I'm dead.
I mean, he's gone from, you know, the highest of highs to sitting in a pit full of ashes, and his flesh is worms and dirt. I mean, these sores, right? When I read that, I think infection, maggots coming, flies around, all this kind of stuff. Just, ugh. But my skin hardens and then breaks out fresh. Like, scabs over, starts to get better, comes right back. You know, kind of deal. My days are swifter than a weaver's shuttle and come to their end without hope. So he's saying right there, the nights are terrible. I hate the nighttime. I can't sleep. The night takes forever. The days come by and go by in a snap.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what a weaver's shuttle is? Have y'all ever seen that?
A weaver?
I do not.
So I don't know exactly what the old version, like modern versions. I mean, it's literally like this would be wood, I guess, maybe here, but it's like a little mini torpedo that goes through all the thread and stuff that's being woven together.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I think I know you're talking about.
Like, that's a modern version, right?
Gotcha.
So like when he's saying, but it moves super fast, right?
Right.
And gets a tight weave on whatever they're making. So that's when he makes that comparison, like that. If you get your hand in front, So if you get your hand in front of that, it'll like
they put it in that, and then I guess like this, it goes back and forth, and it's pulling.
Yeah.
It's pulling through.
Yeah.
Okay.
But like modern versions are automated, of course, and like
Right.
go super fast and like will go through your hand and stuff. But he's saying it goes.
That's kind of like what they would set
Yeah.
at,
Got it.
and she'd be passing that back and forth.
Gotcha. Interesting.
But the days go by super fast, like that Weaver shuttle, like an experienced Weaver. They're
Yeah.
doing that as fast as they can to get done with whatever they're making, right?
Do you think he's saying right there that the days go by fast because maybe like his friends are there and he like people are there, things are kind of like maybe off his mind because of other things going on, but then when he's in bed and at home alone, or he's alone on his mind, so all he can do is think.
Even today, when you're out in the darkness, like at nighttime and stuff,
Yeah.
you know, if you're scared of something, that makes it worse.
Yeah.
Drags it out.
If you're like if you're sick, right? You have the flu or something. During the day, you kind of okay, it's all right. But when you lay down at night, you get congested. Your cough becomes worse. All that
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
like.
I gotcha.
It
Yeah.
just kind of gets worse. Verse number 7. Remember that my life is a breath. My eye will never again see good. That's a pretty. I mean, there's a period after that. You know, he is making a declaration. My eye will never again see good. The eye of him who sees me will behold me no more. While your eyes are on me, I shall be gone. As the cloud fades and vanishes, so he who goes down does not come up. He returns no more to his house, nor does his place know him any more. Therefore I will restrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will not restrain my mouth. Therefore I will not restrain my mouth. Big difference right there if you leave out not. I will not restrain my mouth. I will speak in the anguish of my spirit. I will complain in the bitterness of my soul.
Mm,
I mean, he's pretty much telling him, I ain't stopping.
right.
I don't have no filter. We
Yeah.
we telling how it is.
Am I the sea or a sea monster that you set a guard over me? So now he's kind of, attacking his friends here. He's kind of told them, you can't compare or understand what I'm going through because no one's ever gone through it. And now he's kind of turning on them of, I am the sea. I'm the
Right.
monster. You're here to guard me. You're here to
Right.
put limits over me. You're here to tell me what to do. Nah. When I say my bed will comfort me, my couch will ease my complaint, then you scare me with dreams and terrify me with visions, so that I would choose strangling and death rather than my own bones.
Guess
He's-
that does say that I guess he sleeps.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he said he did sleep. Well, yeah, going back
Yeah.
to what we were talking about
Yeah.
earlier. Yeah. I loathe my life. I would not live forever, leave me alone, for my days are a breath. What is man that you make so much of him, and that you set your heart on him? Visit him every morning and test him every moment. How long will you look away from me, not leave me alone till I swallow my spit? If I sin, what do I do to you, you watcher of mankind? Why have you made me your mark? Why have I become a burden to you? Why do you not pardon my transgression and take away my iniquity? For now I shall lie in the earth. You will seek me, but I shall not be.
I mean, at first I was thinking in verse 20 when he starts talking about sinning, I don't know why I thought that he was talking about the friend, but that's the first time that he questions, I guess, God,
Yeah.
right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, he's kind of going against everybody and everything now. Just
yeah.
like friends, y'all don't know anything I'm going through. You're here to guard me, and God, like, you're not listening to me. How long will you look away from me? That's verse 19. How long you look away from me? All this kind of stuff. Why have you made me your mark? Why have I become a burden to you? I was one of your children. I was blessed by you, and now I'm a burden to you. What did I do? Kind of thing. Like,
I'm not gonna lie. Reading these last like 10 verses or whatever, when I got to 13 where he talks about a couch, my brain just went out in the left field squirrel. Like, they have couches back then? What is this talking about a couch? Like,
I mean, it wasn't a lazy boy.
It wasn't.
Brandon,
yeah, right?
but-
Like, did it have a heater in it?
I mean, I talked about the Weaver
Probably
too.
not a heater, I don't think.
I mean,
But that's
you never know. He might have fell asleep and peed on himself. He got a heater.
yeah, a lot of money. So if there was a couch back then, I bet he had
He got that
probably.
wealth.
all
Sorry.
right. That broke the train of thought there.
That did. That was
Cha-ching.
definitely, yeah.
But,
mission accomplished, Ryan.
Again, squirrel. I was like, hold up, I can't even read any more of this. A couch.
I mean, that's the end of chapter 7. I think that's a good stopping point. Job
Yeah.
had, gave his rebuttal there. Next, chapter 8 starts with another friend to kinda
Bildad.
speak up. And
Bildad?
yeah,
Bildad?
what'd you say last week? You said that Bildad?
Bildad.
Was it Bill? Hold on.
Anyway,
Bildad the Shuhite. He's going
But,
to come to. He's
yeah.
going to come to offer a couple words, couple chapters of. No, it's only one chapter, and then Job.
yeah, I
Job
mean, the
goes
title of
back
the title of that one is Job Should Repent.
I don't have these titles like you do.
That's because we're better than you.
Yeah, probably
I-
so.
I-
Look at
I'm just
the-
Kidding.
look
I'm
at the good
playing with you
Bibles.
completely.
I don't know who adds these titles in. That, I don't think that's an original biblical. They didn't have titles on their chapters
No.
and stuff, so I don't
Yeah.
know who made that decision to put that. But that's what it says in the Job
Yeah.
should repent. That's the summary of what old Bildad, however you want to
Wow.
pronounce it. Ryan acted like he was going to say something for a
I'm
second.
looking-
Did. Looks like he
To
had
be honest,
something.
I
He's
wanna
looking
go-
very intently at his phone.
We're in 7. Is that right? Hold on.
But Job kind of spoke up and said, "I'm not going to hold my tongue." I think Bildad said, "All right, open
Yeah.
game.
I think
here
it was
we go."
Bildad.
I mean, does Bildad really want to go? You know, I mean, I think back, I'm like, well, Eliphaz went.
I mean,
And
all three
Job-
friends got to get their words.
I
in.
guess so. And
get the
Job
word.
came back with pretty much the same the same feelings he's had before Eliphaz tried to bring him back around.
Yeah.
And Bildad's sitting there saying, maybe I can offer something up that hasn't been said, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, a lot's been said, so let's see what different he can say.
Join us again, for part 3 of the Job study, and we'll get into what Bildad said. We're gonna
Yeah.
maybe start to condense these chapters a little bit, where we don't have to read every single verse. We're gonna hit some highlights, and bring you the good stuff. But we got several more chapters to get through.
I think we need to challenge them a little bit. Maybe now that they know where we're going with it for the next section, maybe they go and review it themselves and do a little Bible study of themselves, and then that way, when we actually put ours out, they know what's going on.
Interesting.
They can listen along with us and know.
Interesting.
There you go. Send your questions in.
Yeah.
If you read ahead, start
Yeah,
in chapter 8.
exactly.
Send your questions in.
Do
We'll
it.
try and hit those.
Lori actually,
it.
they did like a precept on like Job.
We
So-
should have her in
so
here.
she is
We get you guys a babysitter next
well,
week.
well versed on Job. She has
Don't
a
look for
whole.
Dawn.
She has a whole. I haven't looked through it yet, but she has a whole like binder of like breaking down all the. Yeah,
We need the expert.
yeah.
But
Sorry, Zach, you're out.
Ryan, you going to send us home?
Yeah, I'll do this one. So we are at Job 5:27. Behold, this we have searched out; it is true. Hear and know it for your good.
There you go. Don't
sir.
twist it.
What?
Don't twist God's words.
Yeah, don't do it.
Yeah. Don't twist a couple words to fit your life.
Yeah.
Right.
Fit your life to do what God says.
Right.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
You are
So-
correct.
Thanks for joining us. You know it. We love you. God loves you more. See you again next week.
Never trust what?
I'm lost.
A fart.
Oh, my God.
Never trust a fart. Get it in your head.
Amelia's gonna die when she hears that again. Oh man.
Oh, I couldn't help it. It was sitting right there looking, reading it. Never think about failure.
Thanks for listening to GPS to God. Make sure you leave a rating or review on whichever app you happen to use. Also, find us on YouTube and be sure to subscribe to our channel.